You are listening to the Path to Mindset Mastery podcast, and today the entire focus is on helping you break through one of the biggest limiting beliefs that's holding your business back. This is one of the beliefs that no matter how hard you try building your business or going after your dreams, no matter what you do to succeed, and it doesn't even matter how much you succeed, it still won't feel like enough. We're going to break through that today. This is about the stuff they don't teach you. In fact, most people tell you the opposite of what I'm going to teach you today, and that's why most people never get to their dreams. So if you master what we're going to talk about today, you'll notice that not only will you have so much more success in your business, but you'll also have so much more fulfillment and happiness on the path to success. My name is Brad Bizjack. I'm a mindset coach and inspirational speaker, and for the last 3 years, I have worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and home-based business owners and help people just like you shatter the limiting beliefs and overcome the self-doubt to build the confidence and create the life you truly deserve. This is the Path to Mindset Mastery podcast, and first things first, I actually have an amazing tool to help you with breaking through these beliefs. As you start your business, have you ever noticed that overwhelm or anxiety or negative self-talk holds you back in some way from getting what you want? Well, we have a little download for you called the Mindset First Aid Kit. It's totally free. It's your go-to guide when you're in the dark times and you don't know how to break out of it, so you can get back to building your dreams so much faster. Instead of praying that limiting emotions go away, you're able to break through them in seconds, in an instant, and get back to building your legacy, building your dreams, and being consistent. Imagine not needing a week or for something else to happen, for anxiety or overwhelm or fear or doubt to go away, but instead you did it in seconds. That's what the Mindset First Aid Kit is for. It's totally free. You can find that linked up below this podcast and get that right away to help you get on the right track with the right mindset to build your dreams. And always, if you're finding value in this, make sure to give us a rating and review. I love seeing your feedback and how much this podcast has touched you. So if you feel compelled to, we would love it if you left us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this today. And share this on your social media stories, in your Instagram, on your Facebook. Screenshot it, share it with other people. People need to hear this, and let's get into it. I want to share a story with you. I always believed that success caused happiness. And I mentioned in many of my podcasts before, Janice and I were $92,000 in student debt. And when you look at the idea of $92,000 in debt, isn't it insane to even think about? Like, what's the point of even trying? And we looked around our life at everyone in our lives, and debt was just something people had. No, you just have a car payment. You just have student loans. And they thought you would pay it until you're 80 years old. The people in our world thought it was just a way of life. But we wanted more. We didn't want to be a slave to debt. We wanted to be able to travel, to take our kids to amazing places. We craved financial freedom. But I was terrified that money would always rule our decisions. Have you ever been in a restaurant and looked at a menu, and the worst feeling in the world is having to pick based on price instead of based on what you want? I hated that feeling. It was one of the worst feelings ever for us. And whenever debt or loans or money came up, it put a pit in my stomach immediately. I thought that being debt-free would make me feel like I was enough. One of my biggest insecurities was not being able to provide. It was like I was letting everyone around me down. Even if we made our monthly payment on that debt, it just seemed like we couldn't make any progress. And on our dog walks, we'd have so much tension about how we couldn't do what we wanted. It made us terrified to even consider bringing a child into this world if we can barely make rent. And one day, Janice, my wife, was on her way to work. And she called me so stressed, and she asked, how are we ever going to get out of this? Because, by the way, at the rate we were going, this is no joke, because we kept putting our loans into forbearance every month. It would have taken us 47 years to pay off our debt. 47 years. But something in me clicked, and I said, babe, we're in this situation either way. We need to learn to appreciate and enjoy the ride, or we will be miserable for years. We realized that this is our situation. These are the cards that we're dealt. We're in it either way, so we might as well learn to love it and appreciate it. So we made a plan that every time we made a payment, we'd celebrate it and appreciate it. We'd appreciate the progress we're making no matter how small. We promised that we'd be grateful that this debt was bringing us closer together. And we promised to appreciate wherever we're at. And we started doing it. We'd make a $25 payment here. And then the balance was still at $92,000. And sometimes the bank account would overdraft. And we couldn't pay anything that week. It was so easy to get defeated by it. But we chose to be grateful for it. And we kept this up for a while, and slowly but surely, we started to realize that we were making more consistent payments. It was like from focusing on appreciating our situation, we got out of it faster. Then we got to $91,000. And on the dog walks, we celebrated like little kids and said, thank you so much for this debt. Who would have thought, thank you so much for this debt, right? And then interesting things started to happen. Our business started growing, even though we were doing the same actions. And so our payments increased $100 a month, $500 a month, $2,000 a month. It was a snowball of momentum. And by February of 2019, we were completely debt-free. We popped open that bottle of bourbon and celebrated the crap out of it. But what's interesting is that our life never started changing until we learned to appreciate where we were already at. Let me repeat that. Our life never started changing until we learned to find a way to appreciate where we were already at. Who in the hell would have thought that from being grateful for our debt, we'd find the solution to pay it off? They say that money challenges drive couples apart. Ours brought us together because we decided to celebrate and appreciate no matter what, no matter where we were on the journey. In my entire life before this, I always believed that success or money would cause happiness. But I realized I had it backward. More money isn't going to make you happy. In order to be successful, I had to be grateful first. If you have more money, but you don't learn how to master the emotions first, you'll just feel an exaggerated feeling of what you already feel. You know, everyone always hears the metaphor, put your oxygen mask on first, right? And it feels counterintuitive because you want to protect your kids in the moment. It feels weird the same way this does, but it works. So write this down in your notes today. You cannot change your life until you learn to love your life. It's kind of like weight loss. For years, I judged what I saw in the mirror. I wanted abs in that V shape, but my weight always went up and down. But honestly, I just wanted to wake up and love what I saw in the mirror. But it was like no matter how hard I worked out, I couldn't get myself to eat right. Well, at a conference over the last year or so, we did an exercise where we pretended to look in the mirror and tell ourselves something that just words we needed to hear. And what instantly flew out of me was, Brad, you're already more than enough. And in that moment, I remembered promising myself to be grateful when I looked in the mirror instead of resentful and judgmental. And life would test me, right? My buddies would want to go grab beers and wings, but instead of downing 6 IPAs in a basket myself, I had 2 beers and a couple of wings. And I'm not perfect at this. Sometimes I slip up, of course. But this all or nothing mindset started to disappear a little bit. Then I started losing body fat and gaining muscle. And eating healthier became easier. And now I don't judge myself nearly as much as I used to when I look in the mirror. But it wasn't until I was grateful for my existing circumstances that my health changed. So most people think they'll be happy when they lose weight, right? But if you have that mindset, you never get to the goal. You know what I'm saying? Right? You find a way to sabotage and you go back to where you were. And even if you force yourself to lose weight, you'll never love what you see. But when you love your body as is, you treat it better and the weight comes off. When you focus on gratitude first, results come fast. And it felt weird to say that I should be grateful for barely making my bills. Like, shouldn't I be grateful once I'm able to pay my bills? Well, yes, that too. But if you're not grateful first, you're going to have a super hard time doing it. So what's the lesson here? If you're like most of my Appreciation Academy clients, then you might have the belief that you'll be grateful and happy when you achieve your goals, when you grow your business, when you make more money. And a lot of people believe that. And you may believe that you need to achieve in order to feel good. But it's the opposite. Appreciation is what attracts success. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this podcast episode is that when you think a goal or a dream will make you happy, you're literally pushing it away. Think about this. What is the greatest goal you have ever achieved? Outside of something like having a family, outside of something like getting married. And when you achieve that goal, how long did the juice and initial happiness last? Was it 3 minutes? Was it 3 days? Maybe 3 weeks? But doesn't it eventually fade away? Why? Because goals don't bring happiness. Happiness and appreciation is what brings goals. That's what we need to change. Your problem in your business, in your life, is not the problem. It's how you face your problem that's the problem. When you're so emotionally attached to how a goal happens or plays out, You energetically push it away from you. Now, this isn't saying you shouldn't be excited or passionate. You need to be excited or passionate. It's the only way to get to your goals is to get your hopes up. But what I mean is, when your happiness is dependent on an outcome, you are making that outcome so much harder to achieve, and even if you achieve it, you'll still not feel like it's enough. Have you ever found yourself hitting a goal and then been stressed out that you got to do it again the next month? Right? Or you get to a big milestone and then you're like, now what? Right? Or have you ever been pushing so hard for a goal to come true, and it's like no matter how hard you push, it's like it's evading you? It's because you're attached to success instead of committed to success. Because when you think that way, doesn't building a business always kind of suck? It's constant frustration and overwhelm, and it leads to self-sabotage, getting into a slump. When you try to build a business that way, it's so overwhelming, it's so intense, it's so stressful. It's insurmountable. If you want your life to change, your business to change, your marriage to change, your bank account to change, you got to understand the major key concept of everything I teach. It's the most important concept I teach anyone. Appreciation is the master skill to business. And it sounds so counterintuitive, but it's real. Appreciation is the master skill to business. Business success and money do not cause lasting happiness. Happiness and gratitude and appreciation causes the success. It puts you in the right energetic state to create your dreams and be happy along the way. Happiness and appreciation for the journey and the challenge. That's how you overcome the challenge. Most people don't get that. I didn't. It's why I stayed stuck for so many years. So write this down. Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. When you can find beauty in what you don't like about your situation, that's when your situation starts to change. Most people try to climb this big mountain of success saying, I'll be happy when I get to the top, right? Put your dream or goal on top of a mountain. The problem is it's the same thing as trying to climb a mountain with a blindfold on, because if you're climbing a mountain, there's going to be ups and downs and peaks and valleys, legs burning, detours. And if that blindfold's on, it's going to take a hell of a lot longer to get to the goal, right? You're even going to step off the trail because you think you need to get to the top now, so any incline you're going to go after. And you're going to end up tripping and falling and breaking a leg, falling off a cliff and dying. And even if you magically get to the top, you won't see any of the beauty around you. But what if you just took that blindfold off? Like when you go hiking, do you blindfold yourself? No, you don't blindfold yourself. You appreciate the beauty as you go. You appreciate the scenery, the wildlife, the creeks you cross, the hike, the workout, all of it, the friendships you have along the way. You appreciate the scenery of that climb and you take the blindfold off. What if you enjoy the journey of getting to the top without it just being a cliche you post on Instagram? All of a sudden, every part of this hike becomes beautiful. And the top becomes so much more rewarding and way easier to get to. Because when you're in a state of this must happen as soon as possible, and I won't allow myself to be happy or not stressed out until it does, how does it come off to your team? How does it come off in your social media posts? How does it affect your invites and the way you talk to your prospects? Even more importantly, how does it affect your relationship with your husband or wife? And you're trying to build a business from that energy? It's not going to work. It won't work. You need to learn how to let go of attachments to your goals and decide to be committed to your goals and committed to loving how you get there, even if it's not the way you expected. So what would happen if you let it go? What if you take that blindfold off and decide to love the ups and the downs, the valleys and the peaks? What if you became committed to your goal, committed to the top of that mountain, committed to reaching it, and committed to whatever life throws at you along the way, appreciating it and loving it? Because getting to your goals, is it going to go in alignment with your expectations 100% of the time? No. So what if you go on this hike for the experience of hiking, not just the summit? Wouldn't you be more relaxed, happier, more fulfilled, less hurt by challenges? What if you were committed to your dreams instead of so attached to them that you'll only be happy when you get there because you're only focusing on the results? Are results important? Of course they are. People ask me all the time though, Brad, how is it you're so happy all the time? And I'm not happy all the time, but I'm happy most of the time. And the reason is because what life throws at me, I find a way to love it, even if it's out of alignment with my expectations. What if you went after your goals, not just for the result, but for the growth you experience and the person you become? What if you go after your goals to become a bigger person and to grow? What if you did it for the climb and not just the peak? In your business, when you operate that way, if someone says no, someone quits, you get a return order. It takes longer to get back up and running than you thought. Or what if it was just the scenery of the mountain the whole time that you were experiencing? And what if you just loved and realized that it was helping you grow? What if you did it for the growth? Instead, all of a sudden, a cancellation or a return when it seems like you're going downhill away from that summit and the summit's up there, it becomes a good thing, doesn't it? Because you learn something instead of hate something when your goal is personal growth and becoming a bigger person instead of just results. And when you're in that state of mind, wouldn't you agree that building a business becomes exponentially easier? Like, you know that feeling you have in your heart of trying to force things? Like you're forcing your business to grow, you're forcing things to happen, and you're not getting the results you want for the effort you're putting in? What if that went away? And what if you became alive again and your energy became contagious again? How would your life change? What would be different about your life if that was how you lived? Everything would be different, because pushing and trying to force success, that's willpower. It's great. It gets you started. But willpower leads to one thing: burnout. If you rely on willpower alone, it leads to burnout. You need to find pull motivation. Inspiration means in spirit, from within. Inspiration, when you are pulled toward your dreams, it's when you don't have to work hard to work hard. Meaning you put in the hours because it feels good to hustle through it. Not because you have to force it. It becomes easier to get to the dream that way. So until you learn to be committed to the dream, instead of so attached to the dream, you're going to have a very hard time getting to your goals. And even if you get there, you still won't feel fulfilled. Write this in your notes. It's a Tony Robbins quote. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure in life. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure in life. That's not a fun one to process. But how many people do you know that have success but aren't happy? They're not genuinely happy. Because think about it. You're just going to have a more exaggerated feeling of what you have right now if you don't fix the appreciation side of things first. So can you see the problem here? Until you learn to love the journey, which I teach you how to do in Appreciation Academy. It's easy to do once you figure it out. But until you learn to live in that state of appreciation for the journey and not have it just be a cliche that you post on Instagram and go back to being pissed off, but until it's actually part of who you are, you're going to feel stuck no matter what you achieve. You're going to feel like you're so behind. You'll go through the motions but feel like you're in a constant haze. And you'll see all these other people flying past you, achieving so much, and it's going to feel like something's wrong with you when you're not broken and no one needs to fix you. So the whole point of all of this is to break through the belief that thinking that success will cause happiness. You might get a little hit of it for a second, but it doesn't cause lasting happiness. Happiness and appreciation is what leads you to your dreams. That is the biggest takeaway from this. So I hope you got so much from this. Don't forget to download the Mindset First Aid Kit, because as you're going through this growth, you're going to experience overwhelm. You're going to experience anxiety. You need that go-to guide when you're in the dark times and you don't know how to break through. And instead of anxiety lasting all week, or overwhelm or depressed states lasting all week and then blaming it on a biochemical thing or whatever it is, you can actually make it go away in seconds. Sure, there's sometimes a biochemical thing going on. I'm not denying that. But I'm saying that a lot of times we look for a way out of taking responsibility. And the Mindset First Aid Kit is going to show you how to take responsibility for your emotions and make them go away faster. Imagine if anxiety didn't last all week, it went away in seconds. You'd be able to break through it so much faster and get back to building your dreams and being consistent with it in a second. It would be so much easier. Imagine no longer needing that long to bounce back. That's what the Mindset First Aid Kit is for. It is linked up below this podcast episode. And as always, if you find value in this, make sure you give us a rating and review. I love seeing your feedback and how much this podcast is touching you and helping you. So if you feel compelled to, we'd love it if you left us a rating and review. Share this on your social, screenshot it, put it on your stories. People need to hear this stuff. So I hope you found value today. I hope you got a lot out of this. My name is Brad Bizjack. Go out there today and every day and live your life with a genuine smile on your face. You're only one mindset shift away from doing it. I'll see you next week.